If you want it, I could get it. It's a podcast you want it, and you need it, and you need it. If you want it, it's a
Dr. John. Dr. John. Guess who's back? It's Dr. John.
Glad to be here.
Been waiting to sing that song again.
Have you been? Did you sing it last time?
Yeah.
And it's of your own creation, or is it a...
Yeah, I trademarked it. So.
Oh, yes? Okay.
Yeah, so don't
That's
be
your-
singing that without paying me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You ought to be making some money from this.
Right. So today you are here to talk about something pretty interesting using Chat GPT. Is that the AI you're using?
Well, primarily, I think I could use anything, but ChatGPT is what I'm using
And we're using it for what?
to interpret dreams. You know, I've always wondered about dreams. I even started a dream journal that I put beside my bed so that when I wake up in the middle of the night and I remember I have a dream, I jot notes down so that I can remember in the morning. But I never had a vehicle for really understanding or interpreting dreams. And I've always thought, oh, dreams are mostly a bunch of nonsense. And then I thought, well, I'm using AI for everything else in my life. Maybe I could use it for interpreting dreams. And so that's where I've gone in the past little while. And so today at Tarkio Tech, I'm going to have a class with a few students in it where we're going to explore the whole topic of interpreting dreams and using AI to interpret dreams. Now, I don't have any training, right? Other than I've got so that I can use AI fairly well. So anything that I say, you know, take with a grain of salt. And not only do I not want to be held to anything that I say as true gospel, but I want people to recognize that whatever I say, there's no professional background that goes into it. It could be all a bunch of gobbledygook or garbage as far as that is concerned, right?
Yeah, for sure. Dreams are tough because I think there's a lot of different possibilities with dreams for sure. I was going to ask you this. I'm trying to think where I was reading this recently. I've been reading The Stand by Stephen King, and there's a lot about dreams in that. And I think that's where I was kind of going down kind of some thoughts on dreams, and dreams are necessary because they're almost like a byproduct of the brain, and it needs, like, some people believe that if you're not dreaming, and not necessarily that you can remember, but your brain basically needs to go to sleep and dream to sort of like defragment, like part of the brain defragmenting process, and then if you're not dreaming, that it's like a problem for
a form of emotional release.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, all part of that.
I don't know if you believe that or have found that
Well,
information anywhere that intrigued you or not.
In fact, in doing and studying the whole idea of dreams, I've come up with 10 benefits of dreams, and certainly one is emotional release. Interestingly enough, when you talk about Stephen King, I read his book about writing.
Yeah.
And many of his, and I don't know how many, and I can't even point to the ones, but many of the fiction pieces that he has written were based originally on dreams.
Yeah.
And I've tried that. I've tried to say to AI, now take that grain of thought that came out of that dream and develop it into a story. So I've got a couple of short stories. I don't have them with me here that I've in fact developed from my dreams. And what better place to get ideas from? I guess I don't know. So yeah, but Stephen King has been a great dreamer and
Yeah.
and a basis, I think, for much of his fiction.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, I know my grandpa also thought that like the whole purpose of truthfully sleeping was to dream because you can essentially rest without being in a deep sleep. But he always also believed that you needed to dream. Basically, it was like a process that your body, your brain, all that stuff needs to go through, just like any other process that your body goes through.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting.
Well, and I think he's right.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that say, I don't dream. I don't believe that's true. I believe probably everybody dreams.
You don't
It's just
remember
that we don't
dreaming?
remember it.
You just can't remember it. Yeah. I know there's studies where they can basically do sleep studies where they can tell, even if you can't remember, that you are currently dreaming based on your brain activity. And then there's studies where they see that people just are not in some cases based on the brain activity. So I always thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's now associated with REM sleep, and if you never get to that stage, maybe you don't dream.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe that's a possibility. But you're probably your health is not very good if you don't get there.
Right.
And so that becomes an important part of being a healthy person to get that kind of sleep,
Right.
and dreams result because of it.
Yep.
So in today's class, I'm going to ask students a number of questions. I'm going to do a sort of a pretest with them to find out a little bit about their dream experience. And then I'll share some of my dreams and the interpretation that AI has provided on those dreams, and then we'll do a post test so that we'll see if they picked up anything or learned from the whole experience.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting questions that I would like to know from the people that are going to be coming to the class.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, they're all women. I don't understand why it's more appealing to women than it is to men.
I'm not sure either.
Now, maybe they're more honest about their feelings than men are.
Might be the
Probably.
case. Yeah.
So it would be interesting to know. And here, do you mind if I share some of the things I'm going to ask them before they
No,
start?
absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go right ahead.
Okay.
You can go through all of it, probably.
Okay. Have you ever studied or practiced dream interpretation before?
No.
The closest thing that I have is my mother at one time was really interested in this, and she had a few different books that you could read about, and it would give you like some ideas around like certain themes of dreams and what they might mean. But that's probably all that I've been exposed to, and it's been a really long time. I can't remember a
But
lot
you
of.
picked up those books when you were what, teenager or something?
Probably preteen. Like
A preteen
she was probably
even?
going through, I was like 10, 11, 12, something like that. So
And did she talk about it?
yeah, she did. I remember her and some of her friends kind of talking about it. I don't know that we tried to analyze anything that I had been dreaming at that point, but I just remember some literature around the house about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So no experience then, Kiefer. You currently keep a dream journal?
I don't.
No, of course.
No, and the worst
doesn't.
part is the older that I've gotten, I don't remember my dreams very well. I remember having very vivid dreams growing up. And there's a handful that are recurring. And at one time I could kind of remember what those were, but right now I'm kind of have a hard time remembering them. But whenever I have it again, when I wake up, I know it's one that I've had
That's
before.
been recurring. Have
Yes.
you ever had that experience?
Yes, I have.
And do you remember any of your recurring dreams?
Archaeotech has so many great things going on right now. One of those things that is going to affect our community is the revitalization of the Slusher Center. But what does that mean for Atchison County? Well, a few things, but most notably, a restaurant that will be open to the public and, drumroll, childcare. If you're interested in learning how you can be a part of bringing these awesome things to our community and being a part of revitalizing this historic campus, please contact Tarkio Technology Institute. Off the top of my head, I don't think I could like go into detail about
Right.
it, but like when it does happen, I'm like, I've done that before.
Yes.
Have you ever dreamed something like that you fly?
Yes,
I have dreamed that before.
Okay.
I still have dreams that I fly today, and it's really, I've done it since I was a child. The only way I know what even somewhat flying would feel like is my body thinks it's swimming. So in my dreams, I take off on a small little run and I jump into the air, and it's me swimming through the air because that's the only way my body would be like, this what you know.
Yeah.
I have a much different, so I know what you're
Okay.
talking about, but my perception of it is much different. When I'm dreaming that I'm flying, it stresses out my legs because we don't understand really what it feels like to be floating independently without something solid underneath your legs. And so what I believe is going on when I have those dreams is I stiffen my legs to emulate the same thing as having like gravity or something solid underneath me.
And do you think you physically do that?
In
In the moment that you're having that
During the dream, yes, because
Yeah,
like
okay.
my legs will be sore, and sometimes it'll even cause me to cramp if it goes
Okay.
on long enough.
All right, that's very.
I know I physically swim.
Swim, yeah. Mine's more like it doesn't feel like swimming. It basically feels it's kind of like floating, but like I said, like because I don't naturally know what it feels like to be able to float, it feels like I need to make my legs emulate what it feels like standing on the ground. And for whatever reason, that's like they just get tense and tight. And then it kind of feels like you're trying to keep some type of stability
Yeah.
underneath them all the time, like through balance without being able to balance. It's really strange.
Do you fly fast?
Generally, I would say generally not. It's more of like a hovering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't fly fast. It's just as like push and then like you kind of glide a little bit and then you have to do it again.
Yeah.
So I've turned Chat GPT on here, and I'm going to ask it to interpret our dream. So each one of us has had the sensation or a dream that we're actually flying. So Chat GPT, is this a common kind of a thing that happens? Does everybody seem to have that kind of a dream, or is it unique to the three of us? And what does it possibly mean? Do you want to add anything else? Do you want any more questions for ChatGPT?
I think I'm comfortable with that for right now.
All right, let's see what it says. So now it's transcribing, and it's coming up. That's a great shared question. And yes, flying dreams are all among the most common dream themes among many cultures and ages, it says. How common are flying dreams? Studies of dream content show that flying dreams occur in roughly 1/3 to 1/2 of adults at some point in their lives. They tend to appear more often in people who remember dreams vividly who experience lucid dreams, when the dreamer realizes that they are dreaming and can sometimes control the action. Well, what are the possible meanings? It depends on the context and emotion, says ChatGPT. Freedom and empowerment. Okay, I guess I can relate to that, right? Because you have a feeling light, soaring, or joyful often symbolizes independence, creativity, or release from life's constraints. I'm good with that. Control or mastery, steering your own flight, may reflect confidence or success in mastering a challenge. Escape or avoidance, struggling to take off or maintain altitude, may signal a wish to escape responsibilities and pressure. Spiritual or transcendent themes. Some traditions view flying as a metaphor for spiritual elevation or expanded consciousness. And it goes on to talk about Freudian theory, sometimes links flying to wish fulfillment. And that's one of the themes that Freud had. He either had sexual or wish fulfillment type themes in most of his interpretation.
Both the same thing.
Right, it's about the same thing. Yeah. Jung, on the other hand,
Yeah.
Carl Jung, views it as an expression of the psyche's attempt to balance the conscious and unconscious, a movement towards greater wholeness. And so lots of little interesting things come out of that. Okay. Now, another dream that I'm going to ask you about. How about falling?
Yes. And when it comes to falling, if I'm not, so this is kind of interesting. This hasn't happened a ton of times, but I can think of maybe 3 or 4 times. If I am physically falling out of the bed, I actually get the like free falling feeling.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, then I don't.
Okay.
I know that sounds really,
So it's related again to a physical,
Right.
something physical
Yeah.
that's happening.
yeah. I can think of times that I've dreamed that I fell in the dream like really, really far from really high, and I never get that like sinking stomach feeling or that feeling that like gravity kinds of gives you as you pick up speed. If I have messed around and accidentally rolled out of the bed, then I'll obviously dream that I'm falling and feel like I'm falling until I hit the ground and wake up. But in general, in dreams when I'm falling, I don't get that same feeling of falling. I'm aware I'm falling because of like visually what I guess my brain is showing me, but I don't get the same feeling physically that you do when you're actually falling.
Okay.
From my recollection, no, I don't think. For any time I've never like woken up from sleeping because I was falling, unless like actually falling off the bed, and even that isn't like I don't dream about that. So no.
I can also have these weird sometimes like if you just are like not trying to go to sleep, but maybe you sit down somewhere and you are tired and you start to like doze off when you shouldn't be. I get senses that I'm falling, and
I
that
get
sense of
that.
falling will wake me back up.
Yeah.
I've also had it happen, and this you may get to this later. I've also had a similar experience where whenever I don't want to fall asleep, but I'm tired enough that my body's trying to go to sleep, it can sometimes be the falling thing, or if I actually go to sleep, it can almost be like a highway or a train track feeling for a minute, where like as I start to kind of doze without really trying to doze, it feels like maybe I'm driving a car or riding on a train for a little bit until I do fall asleep.
Okay. All very interesting. Now, so I wonder what ChatGPT says about that. I've had sensations that I'm falling, not as often as flying, but sometimes the falling has occurred. And it was more, I think, that when I was younger. I don't know that I have a lot of that now, but as a child or as a teenager, I think it was a recurring type of a dream that I had. Okay, so let's see how ChatGPT interprets what we've said.
I know we talked about reoccurring dreams. I couldn't think of one. I do have reoccurring themes.
Okay, let's get some of those. Don't forget.
Yeah.
All right, I'd like to hear some of those, and there's one I want to share too, and I know I talked to Mark Staten about his recurring dreams, and one very much related to his teaching. Mine is too completely different than what his is, but I'd like to share that a little later too, and yours too. And do you have recurring dreams?
I do. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to think of them, though.
Maybe it'll come up.
Yeah.
Okay, so physiology behind the sensation. Okay, it's something we talked about, all right? What you're describing in the feeling of falling as you drift toward sleep sometimes enough to jolt you awake, is one of the most common sleep-related sensations. Hypnic, jerk, is that the way that would be said? As your body transitions from wakefulness into sleep, your muscles relax and your brain may misinterpret that relaxation as a sudden loss of balance. It responds by firing a burst of activity through your motor system, producing a twitch or a jerk. And the dream imagery of falling is the mind's visual explanation for that sudden movement. Vestibular, is that the way you'd pronounce it?
Yeah, vestibular, like you're in a
Vestibular?
vestibule, basically, of
All
some
right,
kind.
okay.
Yeah.
Connection. The inner ear balance system can generate realistic sensations of motion or falling. When the brain integrates this with partial dream imagery, you experience a vivid fall or drop. That's why you feel the real falling sensation only when your body is physically shifting or losing balance, like sliding off the bed. When you're deeply asleep and dreaming of falling without any body movement, your motor system is inhibited, a normal part of REM sleep, so that you see the fall but don't feel it. And loss of control and insecurity. I'm just going to look at some of the themes that they're bringing up here. Transition or surrender. Falling without fear can indicate letting go of something. Reconnection with childhood or instinct, another thing that it suggests here. And how about flying and falling, two sides of the same coin? Dream research, some researchers sometimes group flying and falling together as vertical motion dreams. All right, so lots of interesting things that you get out of AI that I would have never. That I would have had, of course, to do a lot of research in order
to find, yeah.
and a lot of training to get that kind of information that AI is just producing almost instantaneously.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of interesting that a couple of things that I described are actually very common. I don't feel like it's very often you have that conversation, though, with people. Hey, everybody. If you are a business, local or otherwise, and you are interested in having some advertising space on our If You Want It podcast, shoot us a message to our Facebook at If You Want It, or you are more than welcome to email pivmeyer@gmail.com. That is PIVMYER@gmail.com. We'd be happy to throw some ads up that way and kind of talk about pricing. So give us a holler.
No.
Well, I mean, you've had conversations probably with especially ex-girlfriends, like, oh my God, I had a dream last night. Me and Becky, we were at the mall and then a chimpanzee ran in.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to talk about
that,
dreams,
yeah. Yeah, or sometimes it's tough because, you ever get in that situation where you're trying to have the conversation with somebody and it makes total sense in your head, but then whenever the words have to come out, it's all of a sudden half of the information's gone. So it's you just feel stupid for even bringing it up, even though it'll make sense up here, but for whatever reason you can't actually describe it correctly.
But ChatGPT, the nice part about it is it doesn't make those kind of judgments.
Yeah.
And so when I usually I just have bare bones descriptions of my dreams. By the time I get to the point where I'm describing it to ChatGPT and getting an interpretation, and I wake. I don't know when you wake, but I wake maybe if I've gone to bed about 10:30, 11 o'clock, about 2 or so. And I'll wake with a dream, and at that point I'll pick up my cell phone and go to ChatGPT and interpret that dream or describe the dream at that moment. So rather than writing it down as in a journal, one of the real problems with all of this, writing it down, is now you're awake for the rest of the night. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's a lot different with your cell phone.
You know when I find that I have vivid dreams that I can usually remember is like if I go to sleep for a while and I wake up like well before I need to be up or well before my alarm, like say give like an hour or 2 hours before. So like if I know I'm getting up at 5:45 and I mess around and wake up at like 3 or 3:30. When I go back to sleep for those 2 hours, I feel like that will get me into a situation that will give me a dream I can remember, and they're a lot more vivid. I don't know if that's common or not.
No, I think that is. I think I've had that experience.
If I wake up in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom, or I just wake up, a lot of the time I can go into like the same dream, or like a similar, or at least a similar theme or like setting from where I was prior.
I've had that happen, but and I consciously have said, "Oh, that was such a good dream. Take me back to that again." I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't ever think about that. Like I'll just get up and like do my business, go back, and I just kind of like slide right back, into
the
that.
dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
That almost never happens for me. Once it like there'll be times I'm trying to hang like there'll even be times that like I'm starting to get consciousness and I'm trying to hang on to the dream and I can't.
Yeah.
Like that happens to me a lot. And then like I can have a dream that I can remember and then fall back asleep in it. I can't
back to
recreate it. No.
I have a very like creative mind and like super imaginative. So I always wondered if that's like why it's easy for me to like go back, because I don't think that's common with a lot of people.
Yeah, same with like lucid dreaming. I don't want to say I've never had it, but I would say not really or not much of one. You know
It's
what I
never
mean?
interested me to try.
I
Because I like the sporadicness
Of it.
Yeah.
I can
So what do you mean by a lucid dream?
Where you're in control.
like where you're really in control of it.
okay.
What is common is I can be in a dream and realize I'm in a dream. And then especially if it's a recurring one, then I know what's going to happen next and I can kind of stay in the dream for a spell, but like eventually once that realization starts happening, I usually don't have much more time there. That's probably the closest thing. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily in control. It's just I'm still asleep and in the dream, but somewhere subconsciously I'm aware that I'm dreaming. But like lucid dreaming is where you almost, I don't know how you would describe it, Kiefer. Like, are you even totally asleep? It's like somewhere between deep sleep and consciousness, but yet you can still kind of manifest whatever you want out of that
And
experience, I guess.
In those kinds of circumstances, do you actually, when you wake up, finish the dream?
No, I would say most of the time not. Or I can get close enough to the finish before I wake up that it's, I don't know. I would say that they never get completely finished. I can usually get somewhere between 90 and 97% finished with the dream if it's a recurring one, whenever I start realizing what's happening.
So here's a question: nonsense, or is there meaning?
I wanted to ask you that, actually. Because
yeah, who's interviewing you?
I don't know. I would love to know more about dreams. Like, and when we were talking to Dan Paranormal about like our experiences, a lot of my experiences with paranormal are dream related, but I know that just convolutes. Is it paranormal? Is it not? But then I would also say that I believe there's a lot of different reasons we dream, and we dream a lot of different things. Sometimes I think it can totally be related to something you just recently saw or something you just recently experienced. But I also have had dreams that I sometimes think, this is going to sound a little out there, but you're either being shown some sort of reflection from like a different, I'm going to say dimension, but I don't know if I want to necessarily say that, but I want to say that you're being shown other possibilities that could be or might exist. sometimes I believe that wholeheartedly.
Okay, that's interesting too, and that would be certainly worth exploring. Do you when you what kind of dreams? So just before going to bed, you watch a movie that gets your adrenaline going. Does that affect your dream during that night, or how's that?
Yeah, go first.
I was gonna say I would say it did when I was younger. I don't know that it does now, but like one of the following dreams I can remember, and like I said, I couldn't drive yet, maybe junior high age, and I remember the vivid part of the dream that I remember specifically following is somehow I was on the end of a car in the air, and the car was falling towards the ground. And I was stuck on the hood ornament. It was like an 80s Oldsmobile or something. It was really long, big hood ornament. And like part of my clothing or something was stuck to the hood ornament. And I had no option but to ride the car all the way to the ground. And I just remember like being stuck on the front of the car. And I remember like falling back into my driveway of the house that I grew up in. And when we smacked the ground, nothing really happened. It was just like anything you see in an action movie. I cannot remember if I had watched something that was very similar to that day or within the last few days or whatever, but like that sounds like action movie stuff that my brain's recreating me
Right.
in
Yeah,
that case.
Yeah. Well, at least it didn't blow up.
No, it didn't. It literally just kind of behaved like if you dropped a car 40 or 50 feet out of the air and it just, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's pretty much all it did. And I just kind of remember like being stuck by something back here. And I remember whenever the car hit first and it just kind of like bounced my body off. And then I just kind of stopped and then got up and walked away from it. And I
Yeah.
can't really remember much after that.
Okay, for
I would say no. I watch a lot of scary movies, especially like by myself before I go to bed or
Oh,
something.
dear. I thought that
And it
getting
does.
married take care of that problem.
No, it
Yeah,
just,
he's sick. He can't help himself.
it doesn't affect me. I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even scary movies don't affect you.
No, I'm not going to sleep or anything.
Usually not me either. I would say that there's some things that can bleed over, not very commonly. I would say there's things that bleed over from horror stuff that I've watched, but it's also not like I watched, I don't know, I'm just going to pick something out of the air. I watched The Exorcist or an exorcism movie today, so tonight I'm going to dream about exorcism. That doesn't
happen.
does not happen that way for me.
Okay.
I used to think that happened as a child. Or no, somebody told me as a child, like if you watch something that if you think about it multiple times throughout the day, like you won't dream about it. So like when I was little, I'd watch a scary movie. I'd be like, all right, let's keep thinking about it. Especially like as I'm going to bed, I just like lay there and like try to think about the movie. So I wasn't all night stuck. I don't know if that means
Works or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd actually like to experiment more with that whole thing. First of all, a dream or sleep studies show that going to bed on a dream is not. I mean, going to bed on a movie is probably not a good idea. You know, because of course your body is not relaxed. You don't go to bed. You don't go to sleep the way you should.
Any blue light though.
Any blue light would do
Yeah.
that. Okay. And so, yeah, blue light is not a good thing to do before you go to. And so I've often wondered, what if I listen to audio tapes or something that I really want to put into my subconscious? I wonder if I can actually, like, for example, scriptures on audio tape. Okay, so if I read scriptures, listen to scriptures on audio tape, and then go to sleep, will I dream? I haven't seen that successful in my life, but I just wonder if that could lead to it. If how much impact that kind of thing or activity could have before you go to sleep.
Well, I'll tell you this. I read a lot sometimes shortly before I go to bed. I almost always, I feel like no matter what I'm doing, I have to have some type of wind down period, even if I'm not doing much, before I actually physically shut everything off and go to sleep. reading, I think, makes my brain work a lot harder than like watching TV, for instance.
Okay. All right.
I don't feel like anything that I read very often ever shows up in my dreams much, oddly enough, even though that's more imprinted in my brain. Now, one thing that I will say, so we were talking about like blue light and how that affects you, or if you were watching a scary movie, is that going to affect you going to sleep? I will tell you one thing that helps me go to sleep all the time, and it is watching something. But for me, it's like turning on generally like an old sitcom that I've watched before. Could be anything from like the late 90s, early 2000s. And pretty much no matter what, I have to watch at least 10 or 15 minutes of something like that to put me in like a really shut down, comfortable mood. And then I could shut it off and go to sleep.
That's good. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's ask that question. What's the question we want to know from ChatGPT? We want to know what impact does activity, reading, watching a movie, an adrenaline rush from an intense movie, for example, or reading something serious or something enjoyable, something that's humorous. What impact does that have on your dreams when you fall asleep? Or is there any impact at all?
Yep.
Okay, ChatGPT, what do you say? Okay, well, let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to know. I wonder if like there's a lot of theories out there on like nostalgia and comfort TV or comfort. I'd be curious to know if it has anything in there about that.
Well, I don't know. It does say, it calls it emotional and cognitive carryover.
Okay.
Dreams draw heavily on recent emotional experiences. Research in cognitive neuroscience shows that during REM sleep, when most vivid dreaming occurs, the brain reprocesses emotional memories from the day.
Okay.
If you've watched an intense or frightening movie, you might experience heightened physiological arousal, increased heart rate, adrenaline. Those emotional traces can reappear as stressful or high-energy dreams. Conversely, reading something funny, inspiring, or comforting tends to promote lighter, more pleasant dreams because the emotional tone of pre-sleep thoughts often colors dream content. And there's something called the day residue effect. And so lots of more interesting things that come out of that.
It seems like it's saying like something relatively recent should impact your dreaming.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like that's how it works for me at all.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe it does. I mean, sometimes it's hard to understand that like even if sometimes your dreams like might relate to something even though it doesn't seem like it to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The dream doesn't directly point right to whatever it's relating to, I suppose. I have no idea.
Well, my experience, and it's just happened recently, and I don't remember what movie it was. It was something that was highly intense and maybe even frightening. I went to sleep and I was I don't know that I dreamed, but it was a disquieting. It was an uncomfortable, not a good night's sleep that I got from after that experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it's talking about like high emotional things, like, and it's been a long time, but like when I was in a high stress job, I felt like I couldn't sleep worth a darn anytime. Like whenever my mind was focused on like these types of things that it was talking about, like significant emotional or draining or whatever from that day or the last day or two or whatever, I just felt like I didn't really sleep that much. Like I certainly never got to REM sleep, I don't think, in those situations.
And one would hope that your dreams actually would take you to a place that was safe as opposed to
right.
Something
stressful anyway.
Something stressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
traumatic.
And you're being stressed because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other questions that I've put in here, on an average night, how many times do you think you experience dreams?
I don't feel like mine are like 1, 1, 1. I feel like I just have one. overall. I don't recollect like dreams being split up.
I can think of times where I've had I can think of times where I've had one dream, woke up from it, fell asleep, and had a completely different dream. I can think of times where like I only have, I guess, what I would refer to as one dream. I guess sometimes they can start to like go on long enough that it's like not really the original dream, but you don't feel like that there was a break at any time either. But like, how often do I dream at night? Like, I'm gonna say not very often, but I don't know that because I can't remember them all.
Right.
I would say like, how often do I have dreams that I can remember? Jeez, I would say when I was younger, it was probably more common, maybe once every 2 weeks to 2 months. Now, sometimes it's months or even years between dreams I can remember. But do I think that that means that's the only that I'm not dreaming? No, I don't think that. But
I think I dream almost every night.
Yeah.
The only times I think I maybe don't or don't remember is like weekends when I wake up with like morning sickness or something.
mhm.
Morning
Yeah.
sickness.
Yeah. Since we're expecting, that's what we're calling it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must be tough.
Yeah. And it's not often that it's like that, but I think I dream most nights.
I think so. Yeah. I have no idea, honestly. It would be interesting to have the equipment to know. I guess
Yeah.
it would be cool to do a sleep study.
Okay, well, and so I think that in my research, the average person reads dreams 3 or 4 times a night,
Yeah.
even if they don't remember it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's ask ChatGPT. How often does someone, the average person, dream during a night? And why don't I remember the dreams that I actually have? And it says here, how often do people dream each night? Virtually everyone dreams every night, even if they don't remember it. The average sleeper passes through about 4 to 6 sleep cycles per night. Each cycle lasts around 90 minutes and includes a REM, rapid eye movement phase, the stage most strongly associated with vivid story-like dreams. REM periods get longer and more intense toward morning, so your longest and most memorable dreams usually happen in the last 2 hour or 2 of sleep.
That answers my question.
Okay.
Well, like when I wake up with a couple hours left to sleep, I go back to sleep and I fall right into, because that's
Yeah.
your primary dreaming period. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, and so they call this dream amnesia. Why don't we remember most dreams? Forgetting dreams about waking after waking has a few causes. Brain chemistry during REM sleep, levels of neurotransmitters drop sharply. Okay. And these chemicals are vital for forming and storing memories. As a result, while you're dreaming, your brain is active and emotional, but poor at recording memories. Rapid state shift. When you wake suddenly, especially if you open your eyes or move before reflecting, your brain switches from REM state to wakefulness, and the fragile dream memory fades within seconds unless you mentally rehearse it. Attention and
even then,
yeah. Okay.
it seems like even when you do that, it still seems like you lose a lot of detail. The more you like, when I wake up,
The more you try
if
to
I
think
can
about
remember it, I can remember it good for a while, but like after so many times of running through, it's like it just gets less and less descriptive, I guess. I can pull less and less from it.
People who make a habit of writing down or mentally reviewing their dreams, dream journaling, dramatically improve recall. In studies, dream recallers show more activation in your temporal partial, or well, I don't know, junction, an area linked to attention and self-reflection, both during sleep and wakefulness. And so, quick ways to remember more dreams. You really want to know?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Wake naturally without an alarm. Okay, all right.
No thanks.
You don't do that? You
No.
don't wake naturally?
I do on the weekends, and sometimes during the week it just kind of depends on what all went on that day and what all I have to do the next day. I can wake up pretty much on time. I don't trust myself though.
My sleep schedule is so terrible with weekends, like traveling
Yeah.
and stuff, and then professional during the week,
Yeah.
that if I don't have an alarms and I try to wake up naturally, it could be like 1 or 2 in the afternoon before like my body's like, hey, let's get up.
Yeah.
Well, and then maybe your body actually needs that extra sleep.
Yeah, so maybe like one Sunday a month or every 2 months, I'll just like miss a day sleeping.
yeah.
Yeah, just yeah.
And that's probably good for you. I don't. Okay. Stay still for a moment. So wake naturally. Stay still for a moment before moving. Keep a notebook or voice recorder by your bed. Set an intention before sleep. I will remember my dreams tonight. It helps focus your waking mind on dream recall. Okay.
I haven't tried it with dreams, but I have been able to use that to like ensure I'm up on time. Like if I tell myself like you cannot mess around and oversleep tomorrow, you need to be up at this time, and I'll usually wake up
Yeah.
at that time or a little before. But like on the weekends when I have an alarm set, but it's like way past when I would normally
Yeah.
sleep. I'll never sleep to that alarm ever.
Right.
I'll only sleep about 15 to 20 minutes later than I normally would if I had to get up to go to work.
Okay,
It's pretty much what happens to me.
On those days, do you think you remember more dreams, or that you recall that you have dreamed?
I can't think of any correlation with that to say one way or another, truthfully. It's random. Like, I do feel like it's more common that I can remember dreams more, or I have dreams and maybe can remember them more like during the week, I would say. I think it happens less often on the weekends. I mean, it does sometimes, but I think more often than not, it happens whenever I have an alarm set and I'm going to have to be up at a normal time.
So
On average, I
Yeah.
would say.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it's more common on like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night, I would say,
That you actually.
that I would dream and remember it.
Okay.
I feel like that's a more common time. I can think of one particular dream that I can remember that's not exactly recurring. It was like Kiefer was talking about. The theme sometimes can kind of be recurring with it, but I definitely can remember having that like on a Saturday morning one time. But for the most part, I feel like it's not usually whenever I have as much time as I want to sleep necessarily.
Well, another question is: do you dream in black and white, or do you dream in color?
Color.
Generally color, but I have dreamt in black and white. But generally color, I would say, predominantly.
I never thought about people dreaming in black and white. Is that common?
Well, my dog dreams in black and white.
Or sepia.
Sepia, yeah.
I don't know. Ask ChatGPT what's more common. That'd be interesting to know.
Okay, let's do that. Okay. Which is more common, dreaming in black and white or dreaming in color? Oh, I didn't push the button, so I better ask again. Which is more common, dreaming in black and white or dreaming in color?
Technicolor specifically.
Ooh, technical. I missed that.
No, you're good. You don't have
Most people dream in color.
Yeah.
Today, about 80 to 85% of the people report dreaming in color. Most of the time, the remaining 15 to 20% either dream mostly in black and white or say their dreams mix both.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if color blindness affects that statistic.
I'll bet you see it the same way as you see like your color blindness in general.
Yeah.
I mean, your brain's giving you kind of, even though it's debatable on whether it's real or not, right? It's a much bigger question, but it's giving you, it seems to most of the time for most people, I assume, giving you inputs it would normally get. You know what I mean?
Okay, here's an interesting thing. Studies from the mid 20th century found that many adults reported black and white dreams, roughly half or more in some surveys. Scientists later linked them to black and white television.
Yeah.
People who grew up watching on black
and white television would dream in the colors of what they were watching.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that we have, isn't it marvelous that our television, and it's like you say, high definition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes our dreams just so much better.
I could say that, like, sometimes, not always, maybe more often than not, because it's kind of like, I feel like dreams are kind of like trying to remember specifically remember smell or pain or whatever the case might be. You might kind of, sort of be able to slightly experience it, but you really can't experience it in the same way. I would argue that, like, I don't know what percentage, but commonly there is a little bit of a different, or I'm going to refer to as a tint to the right now versus when I'm dreaming. Like, sometimes there's some slightly different, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't know if tint's even right. But light intensity, I guess, is a little bit different. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I feel like I get more vibrant in my dreams than normal.
I think it depends. It can be more vibrant, but sometimes it can be duller too. It just kind of depends.
When you guys dream, I don't know if you dream about like different places often or like where you're at, but one of the things that I notice in my dreams is that I pay a lot more attention to, like, if I'm in a house, like the woodwork, the carpets, because I can almost, like, right now I'm picturing a couple places I've been in dreams where, like, I can picture exactly like where I was standing, how old the paint was, like if it's like a house from the 1800s, you know how that paint kind of feels like it's separating from the wall but still on, the wood grain, red carpet, different things like that. I feel like I notice more details in dreams than I do like if I'm at a place in real life.
Do you ever have where in your dream you somehow consciously tell yourself that it is like, I don't know, like for me, like sometimes I'll have dreams that are taking place in, say, the house I grew up in. And it is the house that I grew up in, but there's also some pretty vast differences from what's going on in the dream compared to what the house actually is like. Or sometimes the house is exactly the same, but the events are wildly different than anything that would have taken place there. You know what I mean? Does that, I don't know if that is.
I never dream about places that I am naturally in. Like when all those years I worked at Olive Garden, I don't recall one dream of being in Olive Garden. Even to today, I never dream about being here on campus. I'm here all the time. It's always places that, like,
you normally aren't.
Yeah.
Okay, so
interesting.
What about somewhere else? You've traveled to Mexico, for example. You ever dream that you were in a different country or a different state or a different location or someplace?
That's tough. Sometimes I don't get that much detail. I can think of like a dream that I've had that whatever I was talking about, like sometimes I think dreams will show you possibilities of things if something was slightly different in your life. I can remember having a dream that I was me, my wife was my wife, but we were living in a completely different house. I don't exactly know where that was. It wasn't vastly different than here, but it was a little bit different than here.
It wasn't your dream house, huh?
No, this was very much like I was still Ethan, my wife was still Jamie, but it was just kind of like if a couple different things hadn't happened the same way as the way life is currently, this is kind of what it might have looked like, which was, at the time I remember feeling depressed. It was not a better outcome than the way life is right now. It was a worse one, I guess I would say. Kind of like, it almost showed me like if neither of us had ever really grown up, and we were like in our 30s, but like still just like not really responsible and not really committed to anything, and didn't have kids and all this stuff, and it was like pretty drab. Like,
So your life is better. Well, that's great.
well, it was for that possibility. It was, but that's why sometimes I think like dreams might really be showing you a different possibility of how things could be or could have been. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Well, so
I might be making that up in my mind. It may be completely unrelated to that, but I feel like I've had enough dreams vividly enough like that where it does feel like it's showing you maybe a parallel universe, or like I said, just a different possibility that could have been that didn't come to fruition.
and it's discomforting.
Sometimes not. It just
Okay.
depends. But yeah, I've had dreams where like we got lucky enough to open up for Green Day one time, and that was extremely vivid in like this huge auditorium.
Was that with me or Tyler?
Honestly, I don't know. I only really remember me being in that dream, and I remember talking to them, and I remember being like up front for like their performance,
Yeah.
and everybody watching them, but I don't really
That's
remember.
what I'd say if you didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings.
No, I really don't know. It was definitely, that dream was definitely all about me. I remember that. I'm not really for sure. I can't remember. And it was funny because like it was a big auditorium. There was a lot of people, but it also kind of looked like the Tarkio High School auditorium to a degree too.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like those weird
Yeah.
mashup type things. So I don't.
So I've wondered.
So that was awesome. And that,
and so you haven't dreamed of each other.
I don't know, I guess. I've definitely dreamed of like friends for sure. Like I can even think like Jamie can remember this because she remembers me like just being asleep and laughing really hard. But I remember it was kind of one of those in between still being awake and
Yeah.
asleep whenever she heard me laughing. But I remember like laughing at some stuff Dustin was saying.
Sure it's Dustin and not me. 'Cause Dustin's not that funny.
At this time it was Dustin, yeah. And I don't remember like I remember when she said you were laughing in your sleep last night. I remember that it was because Dustin was making light of some situation that I was in my dream, and it was very much like something he would have said in the same situation, and it just made me laugh in my dream, and apparently it was making me laugh for real. But I cannot remember much other than that, at this point.
Well, I've wondered with whether AI will interpret the same dream the same way. And I had a dream last night, and I'm going to go to ChatGPT and recount that dream again. And earlier this morning I had ChatGPT analyze the dream for me, and I think that what I'm going to do is just recount just in a second here the dream. I was with my brother and sisters in our home with, and I thought it was present day, but I'm old enough that much of my family, my parents are gone. I have a brother and sister that are gone, a brother and sister that are gone. I have one sister living, but my parents had situated their bed, a king-size bed, in such a way that they could not go through the room had two doors, go through the room into the bathroom.
Gotcha.
And so we suggested, let's arrange your bed the way it was arranged when we lived in France in a trailer home. When we lived in France when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Let's situate your bed so in that same way, so then you'll be able to use the washroom. And then I woke up, and so I got this dream, and I recorded it. So ChatGPT, would you please interpret that dream for me? And let's see.
I know. Makes me want to go home and play with this a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't
Are
know.
you doing the same thing up there?
Yeah, he said he wanted to see comparisons. South
Okay, so
Carolina.
we're doing that's with ChatGPT up
Yep.
there. Okay, all right. The surface story how does it start? Yours starts with okay. You read yours, and I'll
Yes.
read mine.
So I had a dream last night. Please interpret this. I was with my brother and sister in our home, which seemed like present day. I only have one sister living. My parents had moved their king-size bed, blocking the bathroom door. We said, let's move the bed as to what it was like in our trailer home when we lived in France. And this says, core elements and possible meanings. Setting your home present day. The dream grounds you in your current life situation, suggesting that this may be your present emotional landscape or something you're processing now. Your brother and sister are with you. Siblings often represent shared roots, memories, and parts of yourself that developed in the same environment. Since you mentioned that you have one living sister, her presence and the inclusion of your brother could symbolize both family continuity and loss, or a wish for reconnection and wholeness. Parents' bed. The bed can symbolize intimacy, rest, or parental foundation of a family life. A bathroom represents cleansing, release, and privacy. Having the bed block the bathroom door might suggest that your parents' presence or influence, emotional, generational, or symbolic, is obstructing your ability to release, cleanse, or move on from something. It might point to the unresolved family dynamics, grief, or nostalgia. Moving the bed back to how it was. This part explicitly connects past and present. The act of moving the bed may represent an attempt to restore balance or comfort by returning things to how they once felt right. The trailer home could evoke a simpler or more formative time, perhaps a period of closeness or security, or conversely, instability that you've since outgrown. And then emotional themes, a desire to reconnect with family bonds or sense, an awareness of how the past and your parents' influence still shape your current emotional space. I need to unblock something internal, a grief, memory, or habit, so that emotional movement or healing can occur.
Okay, so now this is on my cell phone. Yours was on your computer. Both using ChatGPT. Mine talks about dreams about the family home often reflect the inner structure of the self, the architecture of memory and belonging. The bed represents rest, intimacy, and continuity of life. Are you seeing any similarities? In this dream, it is blocking access, perhaps suggesting that part of your emotional world or your parents' memory needs repositioning so that something can flow again, symbolized by the open path to the bathroom, a place of cleansing and renewal. Cleansing and renewal. Okay, that's a common theme between the two of them. Rearranging the room evokes the psychological process of reorganizing family memory, finding new places for old relationships as people pass on. Well, returning to France links the present with the formative years of your family, suggesting a wish to restore the harmony, cooperation, and safe shared purpose of that time. In essence, the dream can be saying, let's make space for our parents' memory in a way that still allows life to move freely. And then it talks a little bit about emotional and personal meaning.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Especially with how mine was worded. Because you're talking into yours, I'm just,
You're picking it up, of
Yeah.
course, on your computer.
No, I'm typing. I typed that.
Oh, you typed
Yeah.
that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of so blocky.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, all
but
right.
still very similar.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. Okay, so some similar themes, and that's what when I asked ChatGPT about this, it said it very much depends upon personal context, and so that the interpretation will not always be the same,
Yeah.
even though it's the same dream.
Yeah.
But I do know ChatGPT, they pay attention to what you're saying, the questions you're asking. It uses like similar vernacular that you might be typing with. So I wonder, the more you type your dreams into it and the more you use it, if the the better the understanding it has of your dreams in particular.
All right. Is it learning your
Yeah.
particular characteristics?
Yeah,
or
because it's already
personality?
learning your characteristics as you
Yeah.
use it, the more
Right.
you use it.
Yeah.
And then comparing that to other people, I assume the amount of data that's being shoved into this thing is just insane.
Yeah.
From so many different places.
Well, it still has a little bit of trouble. My name is John Fisher. I ask it to write an email. One of my students had the last name of Hardy,
Mhm.
and it always signs my letters John Hardy.
Interesting. I know you can do things with it like if you want to build a deck, you can literally take pictures of the space you have. You can give it the measurements. You can tell it basically what you want, and that thing will tell you down to a T what boards you need to order and how much and all that type of stuff.
Nice.
It's insane. It's really impressive.
Well, it's impressive. Do we need to be afraid? I don't know. What's coming next?
I don't think there's any sense in us being afraid.
I mean, you can't stop it.
You can't stop it.
Yeah.
The generations below us will know how to better deal with it and live with it because they've grown up with it.
Yeah.
They're experiencing it from a younger age. I think it's harder for us who, like, I think in general, wherever you're at in your life, you feel like technology on the, I guess, what I'm going to refer to as, like, if you're the center of time, technology going to the right. So things that are happening or are about to happen always feel like it's happening too fast and it's not appropriate. And you always kind of feel like whatever technology was available to you just on the left, where it was the right amount of technology, no matter what. And then very far to the left, you feel like it was like Stone Age type stuff. You would hate to have grown up in, like, for me, I was born in 1990. Most of my formative years are like 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I feel like the late 90s, the early 2000s was the perfect blend of technology where the computer was attached to the wall. You couldn't do whatever you wanted on it. It was a nice, useful tool. But I can't imagine growing up in like the 50s. You know what I mean?
I was 15
Yeah.
when we got our first television.
Yeah.
So
And people thought I'm sure you lived through people think the television was an idiot box and you know what I mean? It was unnecessary. And then as it got, like, as I was growing up, it was video games kind of took the heat from TV, and now it's computers and
Now it's the news.
the news. Yeah. But, I kind of think that's how people kind of survive. I guess I'm one of those people that when people get so freaked out about technology, it's like, you know what?
It's a tool.
It's a tool, and it's not gonna how we perceve it is already behind the curve of what it's actually doing and being perceived
that's
as.
probably true.
Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as an early adopter as opposed to a late adopter, or
I consider myself on schedule.
on
I
schedule?
guess,
Oh,
like,
okay. So you're not.
I'm
the
usually
first to
not
jump
running
in?
out to jump and get the very first thing. No, but I'm also usually not like waiting until it's way, like, how do I want to say it? Till there's several newer versions out. Either I think I
okay.
kind of
Okay.
like I would. So, like, to give you a comparison, I would say I'm late when it comes to fashion. Generally.
Well, but what's important? to you?
You look really good though right now. So
I look like I've been at work, but
When
I just like
it all
certain
matches.
certain things. I'm not early on fashion, and I'm not like even on time with fashion. I don't think I usually have to see something out there. Like, okay, for instance, are you seeing these people? I know we're way off subject here, but are you seeing
we're
these?
talking about AI.
Yeah, but are you seeing these people running around in like what I can only describe as like med surge scrubs that are now like fancy semi-casual pants people are wearing? Have you seen this?
I thought they were just nurses.
No, these are just pants people are wearing now.
Dude, this is fake news.
No, it's not. It's not. My cousin like sells insurance and he wears these pants around.
What?
And the whole time I was looking at him, I just wanted to ask him, like,
Scrubs.
Yeah.
they're scrubs. Like Mike McDaniels, for the Dolphins coach, he wears them all the time. Like a bunch of them are wearing them. They're kind of like homage to like windbreaker pants.
Okay, but let's go back to
Okay.
the notion of AI.
Sorry. Yeah.
Your adoption of AI,
Yeah.
for example. Do you think you're
I don't even use ChatGPT much right now.
You
I'm
don't?
getting closer to wanting to use it all the time, though.
okay? Kiefer?
When it comes to AI, it is very divisive. I enjoy the plugins that I use for photo and video. Using it professionally, I like that. When it comes to generating content, whether that be a blog post, a web page, not our podcast, but like Facebook post, I do. Whenever I see AI generated content in any of those form, I normally realize it's AI, and I think it's lazy. It doesn't make me want to buy something. It doesn't make me want to stay on the page. And I think I prefer to write 1,000-word blog posts and have AI do it.
Yeah, there's
And
a level of genuineness that doesn't.
And when it comes to like
Translate.
SEO and stuff, Google's not counting you against using AI. But I think as it becomes more prevalent and access, which is pretty easy now, I think people are going to start realizing that it's better to have that human interaction when trying to buy something or research something. So I try to avoid.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
And so,
Or even like reels that are clearly like, it's not as funny or interesting whenever it's AI generated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But using AI and like video production to like to mask
Yeah.
something and remove it and make it super easy, that's awesome. But you're still not taking the humanity out of it.
Yeah.
okay, so what about this whole notion of using AI then for interpreting dreams?
Well, I kind of like the idea behind that because I can't think of another platform that is going to take all these different inputs. Because dreams are kind of a weird one, right? We've talked about how it's hard to remember them. They kind of mean slightly different things to different people, but like at the same time, they probably have some sort of kind of unity meaning to some degree. But like I said, other than the literature that my mom had back in the day, which is again like somebody taking some amount of information from different people and then just basically parsing it out into like some basic symbolism stuff that I don't think captures it. Like, what else has the ability to take everything we talked about in dreams here on this podcast plus anywhere else in the world and then kind of match that all up in a timely, and I'm going to say relatively accurate format. I don't think there's any other way to do some of these things that we can't easily share our experiences and get all that data out of. I think it makes a lot of sense for that.
Okay, and so there are some purposes, other things, wherever you need the human touch.
I think this is fun. You know, I'll use it to like check grammar and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like if you're trying to figure out like a plumbing problem at your house, like you can just put in there and take pictures of what you got going on and just say what it's doing, and it can take like everything you're giving it plus anything anybody else is giving it and spit you out an answer.
I never thought of that. I do that on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
I do that and I have to wait. I never thought about.
Well, me, I use YouTube, but for those kinds of problems, you know. But I did try. I was trying to open one of these screw type salt shakers, you know, that and I couldn't figure out how to do it, and so I asked ChatGPT. I even took a picture of it and show it, and it came up with this whole explanation. Then I went to YouTube and to the manufacturer, and it was completely off. ChatGPT was.
Yeah.
So be warned. What we've done
Interesting.
today,
Yeah.
could all be garbage.
I've been told by a couple of people that I really trust that are really kind of, I would say, ahead of the curve whenever it comes to this type of stuff that said, like, if you are if you like take the plumbing example, if you are just wanting to know what the best type of fitting to use is to fix the problem that you know you've got, just continue to use Google and YouTube. But like if you have a legitimate problem that is like 3 or 4 different stages of an issue that you've got to work through, and you have the time to put all the input in there, it usually gives you like basically a troubleshooting guide for whatever it is you're working on. So like there's like more complex issues, Chat GPT is great, but like if you're just looking for a quick answer to something, just Googling or YouTubing is still probably the better thing. That's what I've been told. So
Even just Googling, though, you get the AI.
yeah.
Now today,
do.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, like, professionally that I'm learning for my own business is GEO. So you have SEO, which is search engine optimization, but GEO is the equivalent to having your products or something pop up when AI is being used
Yeah.
okay.
on the Google search or ChatGPT or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Well, I'll have to explore that a little more.
Yeah, it's,
Kind of cool, huh?
I don't know.
Whether
I
it's
don't
cool or
know.
not. Well, my Google search is connected directly to Gemini, which of course is the
Yeah.
AI version of. All right, key aspects of generative engine optimization. Well, this should help me get higher on the list for Google searches, huh?
Yeah.
They don't know it. See any of my blog stuff. I have an audience of 1.
I was kind of surprised that Google rolled out the Gemini in this fashion where they make so much money off of pay-per-click ads
Yeah.
that this is the first thing that pops up, not the people spending money for those ads. I thought that was very interesting.
Although over here, what's this? Is this advertising?
No.
There's another couple other links.
Did you know that
Nope.
right now?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't think. Like this just relative searches, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Because normally it would say pay-per-click or ad. Yeah. But no, what else do you want to talk about? We're hour and 15 minutes in.
Yeah, and I mean, not that I can't, but I'll have to take off to pick up my child here in about 5 minutes. So.
Yeah.
Well, good place to end.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
not
so.
bad. Or like you and Kiefer
So-
can go on without me if you want
Okay,
to.
and
But
so how long do your podcasts last?
about this
it
long.
depends. An hour,
Yeah.
hour and a half.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2. I would say that's probably a long one.
Yeah.
If we go that long. but-
Sometimes longer, but we break it apart, Chris.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, thanks for coming on. This was pretty interesting, actually.
Very interesting.
I noticed you were yawning quite a bit, and so was I. I think talking about dreams made me like subconscious sleep.
Honestly, since we went back an hour, I have been totally refreshed in the morning, but whenever I get to about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like, oh my goodness, it feels like today has been so long. And today was the first day. I haven't had too much of this with the clocks going back. Like I mean, I almost always go through this. I feel like it took a little bit longer, but like today at 9:30, I was like, oh my God, how is it not 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like finally start, like, how is it only 9:30 in the morning?
I always do the thing right now where like I look at the time like, oh hell yeah, it's actually 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like I
Yeah.
do that for the first week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that way too. Like, especially when it starts getting dark, like you'd be like, oh my God, what is it? Like 8 o'clock. I'm gonna have to go to like get around for bed in an hour. And it's like, nope. It's only 6:30. So you feel like you got the gift of time in that situation.
Should we do away with daylight saving time altogether?
No.
You like changing back and forth?
I don't care one way or another, I guess. If it were up to me, I would just leave it at standard time and quit messing
All
with
right.
it.
Okay.
That's how I feel. And people are just, and people always like, I don't know why you like that, because then it's going to be, it gets dark at 5 o'clock. It's like, that's standard time. It's supposed to. It's winter. It's based on our position to the sun and how we're rotating. Like, it wouldn't be like that year round if we, you know what I mean? If we left it alone. Don't get me started on this. It just pisses me off to no end.
People smarter than me implemented it, and I don't think some
Benjamin
small town
Franklin.
bass player should be able to say, no, we need to change time.
I don't. It doesn't make one difference to me. It's just everybody wants it to be on the savings time period, thinking that it's going to be light from 7 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night all the time. It's like, that's not how it's going to work. When you set the time, the days are going to get longer and shorter,
Yeah.
the same as they do now, but not in the controlled method in which we are currently controlling it. You know what I mean? It just,
I think it's a nice little switch twice a year.
it's not bad.
Almost like a reset
Set.
of,
Yeah. I know. But like Arizona doesn't do it.
They,
know.
and they're surviving just fine. I
Fine,
guess.
yeah.
And Arizona stole my snakeskin boots.
Well, Omaha did.
I'm not too sure no more.
I think you know. But Dr. Johns, appreciate you coming back on. Obviously, you're
Thank you.
welcome on anytime.
Thank you.
Love to have you back, and hope your class goes well this evening.
Yeah,
It'll be
we'll see
interesting to
what
see how that
happens.
goes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was a podcast. You're welcome. Tune in next week. Skip my production.
Pivmeyer Production.